Hi class, this is your video feedback for your site proposals. You'll have video feedback for your sites once you submit them as well. I'm going to go through these very quickly, and so you can see a little bit about how other peers are doing some things. All right, I've looked over these, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but you'll have some details perhaps to help you. So James, nice work. I like that you eliminated the questions, and your sitemap has 7 pages for your navigation, so you should have 7 wireframes to go with that. I love how you've done this. You've personalized it for you. Not everyone has done this yet, and so this is a good way for you to learn, the rest of you who haven't, to see how you should put that together. All right, so you want a list of those things that you intend to put on your site, and make sure you're able to locate all those and put them in the same folder, and then of course separate them by category. Some of the things that look like still need to be written, and this is for many of you, is your about. If people have trouble with that, if you have a little trouble writing that about yourself, talk to a best friend or a family member and ask them to write something very short for you. And maybe you can combine them if there's not enough there, or you can get an idea. We'll certainly get you going. You don't need much about that. It doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be very personal. You can add one special interest maybe, but it doesn't need to be really personal, just something about you. All right, so you do have, I've looked at these, you do have your wireframes to support your site. And this is all very clean. I do like Avenir, is one of my favorite fonts. This is beautiful. Make sure at this size it's definitely legible. Make sure it's always legible. And depending on what your color you're going to have this photography and cinematography, which is your tagline, then you know what service you're providing. Obviously you won't be putting it on white because it won't show up. All right, a little small, so this really can't go very small for this to be legible, but overall really good job. All right, okay, and Michael, again, nice and clean. You've told us, you know, what your goal is, your strategy, what you plan to do, and your sitemap, very clean. You've got 4 pages, so your wireframe should have 4 pages. You've pared down your assets and you've created an outline for yourself, so that's really good. And you have what you need there. And I do really like this logo. It reminds me a little bit of Tesla, which, you know, in case anyone hasn't seen that, I really do like that font. So let's see. So that's really nice. And you have your color palette with your hexadecimal codes, because of course screens look different, so anytime you have someone using these or you're reproducing them, you want to make sure that you use your codes, and you have your fonts. It's good to go ahead and put a sample of your font, and at this point you can also create a few words to describe your tone. All right, even icons if you want, but at this stage it's looking really good. Okay, Smoke Magazine. Kelly, I like that you have your goals here. We talked about this. We then sort of drop off. Let's see, you've got, you would have 6 wireframes for this. All right, so this is the template that needs to be responded to as you are, you know, before you build, you want to address that. Okay, and easy to read at this size, right? Looks good. This reminds me of an R, but you know, all in all, I think it's still, it's a great logo. Okay, very good. Be careful with brush. And you guys, it's really best, if you're not sure what to do, use just 2 fonts, right? One for your header, one for your body. It's good to have a serif, which is this is a serif, and Arial is a sans serif, doesn't have the serifs on it. It's good to combine those. One is a header, one is your body. If you're not sure or comfortable with the types that you're selecting, you can go to fontjoy.com, fontjoy.com, and you can play around with some combinations. You can also do a search for type pairings and font pairings, and they will you'll find a number of sites that will give you combinations that should work well together. All right, make sure that there are simpler fonts that you can use that are more likely to be across the board. There are simpler fonts that are common, and the more out of the mainstream you go, the harder it is to make sure that everybody's browsers are able to open those. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see, Torian. I do like the way you have answered all the questions, and you have your sitemap. I looked through this. It all looks really good, and all of this is good too. Your logo, I really like it. To me, it says FTN, so just something to think about. Do a little survey, ask other people what they see without telling them, and see if they have the same feeling about it. All right, good job. All right, Joseph. Okay, this was really good. You have 5 pages for your sitemap here. This you don't have to do, but at least your navigation at the top, that's what you definitely have to have a site map for. It's all right to have one for this too. And your sitemap is used to communicate with your clients so that before you go into details, your sitemap is just very very rough, right? We don't have content, we just have graphics and so forth, to like shapes and things to help us understand where placement of things will be, and that allows the client to discuss these things without being distracted by content. And going off on that, you can just show them the layout and talk about that and usability, how things are going to be working. So that's why we don't go into detail with the wireframes. I love this. I love this logo. Again, this looks really great and it's legible. Be sure that it doesn't go any smaller. A little bigger would be even better. All right. And I know I'm not at full size, but it looks great. So this is a really good one too. Okay, Guy. You've got 4 pages here. Your asset inventory needs to be completed. This week, as you're building, you're going to make sure that you collect everything and put it in the same folder. Okay. Yeah. This gets a little hard to read, so you'll want to think about that and how small you're going to be able to go. Not very small. Right here, though, we can read it, so we'll just see how small you're really able to go. Okay. And you have your hexadecimal codes, which helps because this looks like a photo of a screen. So you'll want to go ahead and insert those. All right. Good job. Eric. All right, so you have a lot of images and things for weather, and then you also have some that are for other photography. I'm not sure non-weather photography is a tab, but maybe other, right? Let's see. But you've done a good job. Okay, mapping everything out like this, and you have your fonts and your hexadecimal codes too. All right, good job. Kristen. Oh dearie. I really liked this. You're going to have to, I think, add maybe one more wireframe. You've got 5 for your sitemap for sure. Navigation, like this would be home. So that would be up here, home. or maybe it's your logo and you're going to go back to it. But unless your about page is the first one, and maybe it is, then you would have 5. So maybe you have 4, maybe you have 5, depending on your choice there, what you're planning to do. Love all this that you've done. Okay, according to your sitemap, you're making 4. Okay, and the about page is your front page. Okay, make sure this is legible down here. I think this is beautiful. And make sure that these are legible, and use sparingly. All right. All right. Good job. John. Okay, you've got your plan. It's short, but maybe you understand it perfectly. And here you're going to have 4 wireframes. It's all right, for a client to add another one, but I'm only asking for those that are actually on your navigation, your first primary navigation. Okay, I like this. You'll work on that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, so I'm not sure you need this login. That's may not be something you need yet. I'm not sure I have an understanding of why you would, but maybe that's part of your goal. Yeah, I don't think you'll need that login. All right, so you can just delete that. This is nice. I like it. You've provided your codes. Nice logo. Make sure that it's an Illustrator file so that it's a SVG, a scalable vector graphic. So any size and it will still be sharp. All right. All right. Good job. And Chris, I like the way you've answered your questions here. And you're using Wix. And this is about the Kid TV show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good idea to stay with about no more than 7. Your Facebook and your Instagram and YouTube. These are just going to be icons. So they're not really going to have a sitemap or be, unless you plan on embedding. Yeah, here's what you want to be careful with here. If you have a video that you want to show, not too many because it will slow your site down, then you'll want to embed that. You can add these icons, Twitter, Facebook account, and so forth, so that they can, go to your social media. But we want to be careful about sending people away to look at your work. Right? We want them to stay on your site as long as possible, so be careful about that. All of these go here, just like you have it on your contact page, or maybe they'll be at the top of every page or the bottom, the footer, but here is fine. So I would take all of these off. These are good notes for you, how you want to do this, but these are going to be right here. So you're going to have the contact, your blog, and your shop. If that's what you're going to have, that's 3 pages. Okay? And 4. Okay. And you've answered these questions for yourself. That's good. Okay. Here's the thing about a one page. It's a good idea to make a full frame of every page in your navigation. We talked about you really just have 4, including the home page right now. because each one's going to have the navigation. Each one's going to have a logo sometimes. Each one may have social media. So I understand it looks like maybe you're making a one page, but even a one page is going to look like the others when it comes to the wireframe. That way, it's very easy to discuss with your client. It's separate, and you do want to make sure that when you click on something, you kind of are looking at how that whole frame is going to be on the screen. All right. All right. Very good. Nice. All right. I love the concept. Melissa. Okay. Good. You're using Wix. And sitemap looks like you ran out of time, basically. All right. And William, I like how you have your paragraphs here for your proposals. And you've got this, it looks to me is just in the footer, maybe, or on the home page. So it looks like you've got 3-4 pages here. Remember what we said about this. Go back to one of the previous proposals there. So you have your one page here. Okay, I do understand what you're saying, but keep in mind, this is going to be fixed, and so every page is going to show that. Here's one of the things that happens. I don't know that you have a drop down much, but if someone has a drop down, we don't want it to cover up content, and the best way to see that is in a wireframe of each screen. That means when we click on services, we have a new screen here, and it's going to be its own wireframe. Our work is going to be its own wireframe with the navigation and the logo and everything that is on that page, including social media, icons, or addresses, phone number, contact, whatever you have in there, okay? So every page in your navigation gets its own wireframe. Can't stress that enough, okay? It looks like, yeah, that was just added still. Okay, so you've got your colors here. Nice. Should be nice and strong there for you. The thing about black and red, be careful of the proportions. If it's too much red and black, it will look violent. If it has enough white, then it will look more like the Red Cross, okay, their style guide. I love this. And, okay, and it looks like maybe this is just a style you're thinking about. All right. Okay, nice and fun concept. So this would be 4. Good job. You've got a list of your headshot, the things that you want to put on there. That's going to help you. And you'll put those all in a folder, and then you can put subfolders. Okay. Looks like you might need a home page for your wireframe because you've indicated 4 pages here. You're about, so the shop, yeah. Looks like you want to delete the shop. All right, just delete that page, and then you'll be right where you need to be. I'm guessing you, well, given what you're talking about, it may be that you do have a shop, in which case it's going to need its own wireframe. All right. Okay. In Illustrator, you can use the text tool, and it's on a line. That's a path, and you can make this go around the circle if you want. This is possibly a Photoshop or a screencast, maybe screenshot of an Illustrator file, but you definitely want to create this in Illustrator so that it is a scalable vector graphic, so that when we go large, we are not seeing pixelation here. Okay, it stays sharp. Well, actually, it's like when you size this, not when we zoom in so much, but when you size it. All right, but it gives you a lot to work with once you have, your Illustrator file. All right. Okay. Okay, Eric. Good job. And you have your specific pieces that you want in there. I like that. And I feel like we already looked at this, didn't we? This was one of the first ones, but we didn't look at this. So that's really nice. I do like this part here. We don't want to go too small. I almost think this would be nice bigger, but good job. Nice work. You just have two colors you're working with there, it looks like. You want to... Okay. All right. Good job. And I don't want that. I do want the... Let's see. Got a couple more. So, Abram, we've got... Okay, so it's a portfolio site for you. And you're going to use Weebly. If you haven't used it before, you might consider Wix. I'm just letting you know before you start, unless you've already done this, in which case that's fine. Some people like it, but some people find it a little less clear than Wix. But if you've used it before, that's fine. Okay, that's clean. Good. You know what you're going to be using. Very good. Okay, the sitemaps need a little more. Okay. I'm guessing you're going to have a gradient. Okay. Okay. This, you won't be able to go very small on this because the size of this particular font, all right? This is nice. This might have to be bigger, or you'll just have to keep it rather large. Little difficult to separate it from this, so keep that in mind, all right? But, I especially like how you've listed out what it is you want to put on your site, and you already have your about me or welcome written out too, so that's really good. All right. All right, and we have one more. Let's see. Shayla. Okay. Okay, so new website from scratch. Okay, you have your content listed, that's important. You have your about description. Well, not yet. So you want to work on these things. Okay, we need to see the hexadecimal for the colors that you're choosing. Tough to see down here, so you want to really print those out. All right. All right. So you guys, I hope that you're having fun this weekend creating your sites. They're, all about you. And once you start moving along with it and the templates become familiar to you, then it's going to be really fun to start populating all of your, work that you've created. And you'll just update that over time. It's better to have less than a lot. Only use your best work. And as time goes by, you can rotate things, or you can, if you just can't decide, you can rotate things depending on, the season or anything else, and keeping it kind of, updated if you like, or updating with current work. All right? So good job, everybody.